Good evening, dear colleagues. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for your attention. I'm amazed by what you have done. Tonight, I would love to share our experience with AI-based technologies and tell about their applicability to banks. Please allow me to start by giving you some statistics. We have collected statistics on the usage. So this session will look at fintech, and here I have prepared some analytical graphs for you. What you see here is a clear upward trend. We see stats starting from 2017. And this growth obviously continues. However, our expectation for 2020 is to be a bit lower than expected because of the pandemic. However, according to this forecast, this market is expected to grow by a factor of 2 by 2024. And this is something that we can feel very much here at ABBYY. We do see fintech growing. We do see new interesting projects mushrooming all over the place. According to PwC, IDC, and Kroc Research, financial institutions are leading the industries in terms of digital transformation. 95% of financial sector institutions versus 62% in retail and FMCG and 59% in telco. Well, I've been working with Russian banks for 20 years, and I know for a given fact that Russian banks are not afraid of trying new technologies and are very much into them. Actually, ABBYY operates around the world, not just in Russia, and this is what we see in other countries as well. But I'm talking here primarily about the Russian market, and I can assure you that Russian banks tend to be very often less conservative than banks around the world, so they will often be the first to jump on some new technologies. Now, when they were asked about the technologies that are considered or expected to impact the fintech market the most in the following 3 years, these are the answers provided by analysts. Big data and data analysis, 73%. So it's still in the lead, and the amount of data keeps growing. And obviously, processing this data will remain a challenge in the following 3 years. Artificial intelligence emerged as the second most popular answer at 62%. Which means that AI will continue to shape this market to a large extent, followed by cloud technologies, biometrics, mobile technologies, robotics, Internet of Things, VR, AR, and 3D modeling at 4%. So we all see here that, there will certainly be growth in terms of opportunities for AI deployment, although these specific rates of growth may differ because of the pandemic. There is this research from Business Insider showing that total savings for the banks until 2023 can easily reach 447 billion if all the banks deploy AI in their operations. Now, they broke this number down into 3 baskets for front office, middle office, and back office at 199, 217, and 31 billion, respectively. So you see that middle office is the one to benefit primarily from it, but it's closely followed by front office at 199. Interestingly, most of our projects are related to back office implementations, while the other areas are not so hot on AI currently. Among the leading technologies, I should name the following use cases, the following scenarios where usage of AI, or the best way to apply AI, is already crystal clear. The front office side, It is used quite often in client communications, customer desks, biometry. This is what we, being bank clients, all of us, I guess, witness every day. I understand that robots being used by Sberbank today do many outbound calls, and they're quite good at processing human speech and understanding NLP. Understanding natural languages. On the middle office side, the biggest impact is already associated with using AI to prevent risks. So we also have a scenario here, and I hope I will have time to tell you about it. ABBYY tech stack started with text processing and OCR, but now many of the projects we have deployed rely heavily on text analysis. We have been doing it for quite a long time. But the projects that matter will include, for example, a project we ran for Renaissance Credit. Renaissance has been using our technology for optical character recognition, coupled with AI-based analysis. So now they also coupled it with a system for managing workloads for their employees and processing the documents submitted by their clients online, which proved to be a very useful application because it has helped them decrease the processing time per application by a factor of 3.5, from 7 to 2 minutes. Application of NLP. The NLP core we've been using for analyzing natural text has been around for the last 5 years, and over the last 3 years, we have deployed some very interesting real-life projects, including, for example, projects around application processing by government institutions. So you must have come across it. You may need, for example, to send a letter to the Ministry of Interior or something, and there is no particular structure to the document. The only thing they will all have in common is the header, and this is it. So NLP can be used very nicely here in order to analyze all the text in the message.
Another case for NLP in finance, that's credit risk monitoring. I have already mentioned in the overview part of my talk. Together with Sber and some other banks, we implemented an automatic credit risk monitoring system. So if, for example, this system reads on the news that there is a risk associated with some client, and NLP allows processing the news feed and the news content. So the system can automatically highlight this piece of news as associated with a particular bank customer and send it to the risk management department. Our Sber colleagues have already mentioned process mining, and we are involved in that too. We see a lot of demand for such technologies in the market. That's why we added those to our product offer. And we see that banks are now seriously mulling the implementation of process mining solutions. I can give you a few examples from our hands-on experience. I have just 2 cases of using process mining in ABBYY. In retail loans, we had to analyze whether a new banking product would be would sell well in the market. We had to analyze the performance of the process, identify the bottleneck and other growth areas which need to be addressed before launching this product to the market. Another classic example is the customer journey for a loan application. Well, in this case, we analyzed the customer journey not for a loan application, but for an application to a non-governmental pension fund. We see now a lot of interest to such technologies in the banking sector and in the general financial sector, like debt collectors, for example. They are very interested in implementing process mining solutions in their operations. In conclusion, let me highlight 5 main advantages of the artificial intelligence for the financial sector. Well, first of all, we can leverage AI in risk management, because now AI is capable of performing tasks which were simply unimaginable before. Automating routine tasks, that's advantage number 1, and AI works hand in hand with human bank officers in Sber, for example. Another interesting application for AI is collecting and mining data for decision-making, becoming an assistant to employees and helping them to make an informed expert judgment. Well, clearly, there will be more cases and applications for AI in the financial sector, and we will be happy to contribute to that. Thank you for your attention. Olga, thank you so much. I see that there are questions flowing in. Well, this session is on AI in finance, so most of the questions are about the money. So, Olga, does the return, does the revenue from implementing AI in financial sector cover the associated costs? Well, indeed, when you look at the price tags and when you look at the workload, well, it may seem that it's not worth it. When you need, for example, to engage up to 150 FTEs, well, this may seem too much, but you know, many people in the industry, when we approach them with our proposal, we say that we have done something for Sber. They say that, well, Sber is not representative enough of the whole industry, but I do not agree, because in Sber, many AI-related projects are implemented by small teams. So it's not about the money as such, it's about the understanding and focus. But so it's worth it. That's how I would answer this question. Well, thank you so much, Olga, for such a very informative talk.